What's going on, guys? It's Noah here with Custom RC Mods. Welcome back to a new episode. Today's video we're going to be talking about how to repair a receiver for your RC planes, and this one is a Spektrum AR6210 that has a few issues with it. First off, you can see on this left side there is no receiver antenna wire at all, and this side the insulation came off, so both of these are major issues because obviously you're not going to get the best connectivity out of it with your transmitter, and I've already had some brownouts and failures with this receiver in general, so we're going to be going ahead and replacing the antennas, and then I also have to direct solder this satellite wire on because you can see I'm missing the 3-pin connector that connects right into the side here. So both of these fixes are going to be pretty straightforward and the same, but I'm going to cover them both in this video today. So for this video to be complete, I'm just going to show you guys what you're going to need to get this process done. You're going to need a soldering iron and some basic soldering skills. Obviously, this is a pretty small board under here, so you're going to have some issues if you don't know how to solder well, because obviously if you get this board too hot or if you accidentally touch the wrong pad or something like that, you could definitely mess up this receiver. So if it's something really expensive, you might be better off just going to customer support or replacing, returning, things like that. But this is a high-risk operation, and thankfully these receivers are only like 20 bucks, so it's probably better than going through like customer support or anything like that just to repair it, on my end at least. So yeah, soldering iron, basic soldering skills. You're going to need a little bit of similarly gauged wire. This is not copper wire, it's still the stranded metal wire, and this is actually straight off of a servo extension, so it's similarly gauged, and it's pretty common here in the RC industry. And then you're obviously also going to need basic tools such as wire cutters, needle nose pliers, and a Phillips head or whatever bit is on the back end of your receiver case to get the receiver open. And specifically, in my case, it's a Phillips head bit, so I got a fairly small screw to undo here. I got 2 of them, but this is now a good time to take your 2 screws out on the back right here and probably clean off any other junk that might be on the bottom of your receiver. In doing this, you're going to obviously have better luck mounting next time, and it'll make your receiver come apart and go back together a lot easier, especially if you have glue around the cracks. So let's go ahead and do that now. Alright, so I have my 2 screws out, and the receiver case should pop open fairly easily, just like so, kind of revealing what you've been working with. So we can set the case aside, and you can see that now we have an exposed board, and there are 2 modules here. This one's basically the receiving module right on top here, and then on the bottom we've got the kind of connection module that takes all the inputs and sends them out to the control surfaces from the receiving module. So you can see right here that we've got our 2 antennas that are just soldered onto these 2 pads out here. So I'm going to do some delicate soldering right now, but first we got to cut our wire to length. So I'm going to go ahead and fold it in half. It only really has to be 2 inches or so, or less, so you can measure it to how long your wire was initially, but I'm just going to fold this in half, eyeball it. It's not too big of a deal if you get it right or wrong in the end. And then I'm going to take my needle nose pliers and just strip off a tiny little bit on the end, like so. And so now once we got that done, we can go ahead and just take our soldering iron, and I'm going to bring it around here and just desolder this little receiver end just like so. Make sure I didn't bridge that pad right there. Okay, so with the old receiver wire desoldered, we're going to go ahead and add the new one. And first, of course, we need to tin it up. So what I like to do is just take my soldering end and kind of stick it off, and then take my iron and then just tin it up just like you normally would. Just like that. And you can see our little end's a little bit long, so we can just trim it off to a respectable length, just like so. And then solder it right on to our pad, just like that. So now we have one side done. It's time to go ahead and repeat that same process for the other side. Alright, so as you can see, we finished up putting the new antennas on for this receiver, and normally I would say it'd be time to desolder this connection right here and just take these pins off. However, because this connection is kind of smashed in between the 2 boards, and tampering with this might have bad results, I'm just going to go ahead and direct solder my wires to these 3 pads on the bottom right there, remembering that the gray side gray wire goes on the pin side, and the orange wire goes on the antenna side. Alright, so now we have our 3 connections made, and we can go ahead and move on to putting this receiver back together with the housing and the screws. And now you can see we have the receiver all back together and we're pretty much done. But I have one more thing to do, because you can see this connection on the other end actually got severed when I was kind of fiddling with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and direct solder this piece to the satellite system itself. So I'm just going to do that right now. Alright, so now that we've gotten our receiver put back together, it's time to go ahead and give it a test. So I'm going to just go ahead and power on my electronics here. I've got a bind plug. Let's plug that right in. And that's one thing that's important when especially when you have a satellite receiver, you have to bind them both together in order to get them to work properly with each other. So not only are you binding the receiver to the radio, but you're also binding the satellite to the radio as a separate receiver. So yeah, let's go ahead and just plug it on in. Alright, so now that the electronics are on, I'm going to go into my bind menu. Press bind, hold my transmitter away. And you can see with that, we have both the regular receiver and the satellite all bound up, and the regular receiver has these new antennas on it. So yeah, that's a completed receiver system. You can see our power works flawlessly, so I'm really happy for that, and I'm excited to add this receiver back into my fleet. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this with my other receiver and satellite combo, and we will be good to go. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm sorry my other camera died actually, so we're going to have to finish it off over here. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Any other things you'd like to see on this channel, please let me know, and I will make a video specifically for you if you have a request. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.